Hey, Brittany.
Hi, Adam.
First of all, everything has been so much fun today. Everybody kind of opening up the whole facility as we went through things.
Yeah.
Everybody's been so kind and so welcoming and so information forward. It's really been a blast, and I think people are going to enjoy the video. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do here, and your background here a little bit.
Sure. So I'm Brittany Frey. I'm the head brewer here at Madtree Brewing. I just celebrated my 6th year anniversary here with Madtree.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's actually the longest I've ever worked for one company. So hopefully that speaks volumes to people.
Yeah.
I started here December of 19 as a production brewer. So trained on the 100 barrel and then moved down to the 15 barrel, and then COVID happened. So it was a lot of just scrambling, everyone just adapting every day and learning new things. And then I moved into the production manager role almost 2 years into my tenure here. And that encompassed scheduling, forecasting, and raw material procurement and contracts. Did that for a couple of years and then moved into the head brewer role. That was June of 24, so almost a year and a half in this new role. The contract, forecasting, and scheduling kind of still now falls in that line.
Sure.
And then I oversee all of the brew cellar team and the packaging team as well.
Nice.
I have 2 wonderful leads. Spencer, who you've talked to quite a bit today, on the brew cellar side, and Dave is my packaging lead. Without them, I would not be as successful as I am. So
it's so vital, isn't it? You
Yes.
know, like, and sometimes I don't think people factor that in when they think about leadership and success in the workplace. I mean, yeah, part of leadership is getting those people in those spots, developing people or whatnot, but having the right people in the right spots is
huge difference.
it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal. Absolutely. Absolutely. So why don't you tell me a little bit about Madtree, what you all do from a production standpoint, and kind of the history of the place a little bit.
Sure. So Madtree, this is technically our 2nd location for our production facility. We started just a couple 100 yards down the street, affectionately known as 1.0. Not sure if you ever visited.
I was not
there.
at 1.0, no.
It's unfortunate, but we're in a better place now.
Yeah.
Little cleaner and brighter.
Yeah.
So yeah, Madtree started in 2013. If you remember around that timeline, Ohio didn't actually have tap room space as part of a business plan that breweries could have. So Brady and Kenny, they had quickly pivoted to have that space have a tap room. And that just kind of revamped the whole business plan. Still moved forward with canning, so we actually proudly are the first craft beer that canned in Ohio with Psychopathy.
Nice.
So it's kind of like a cool little feather in our hat. So yeah, we quickly outgrew 1.0. 7 days a week, 3 to 4 turns a day. Just maxed out that space. So they moved here. This space, the airplane hangar that the production facility is in, is original. And then there was a building here that was knocked down. The beer garden is original. And then we built the office spot and then the tap room, the main tap room facility on the inside. So we've been operating in this space since 2017. We are around 20,000 barrels now between beer and our RTD sway. We move about 4,000 to 6,000 barrels across our taproom spaces every year.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's the...
From a business standpoint, that's beautiful, yes.
We would not be where we're at without our hospitality. That staff up there is just absolutely amazing. And it definitely allows us as brewers and recipe writers to really kind of push ourselves in creativity. We love getting feedback from that hospitality staff, and sometimes they come up with the most amazing, wonderful ideas that I would never think of.
Sure.
So that cross collaboration is really beautiful that we've set up here. So since 2017, we've been operating here. Built the building to run 6-packs all day, every day, and now our portfolio has expanded to 6-packs, 16 ounces, 19.2s, RTD cans, so those 12-ounce sleeks, variety packs. So we definitely have pushed ourselves in this space to adapt to what the market is wanting.
Sure. That flexibility is a really big deal, and I think whether you want to view it as post-COVID or with evolving consumer tastes, it's a huge blessing to be able to rotate into something like on the RTD side as well. It's good to have that flexibility.
Yeah, and I mean, it was very vital for us as a brand to have that flexibility, but also just keeping the top quality mindset throughout. So there may have been some brands we were a little late to market to, like our hazy IPA, but we were just adamant that we had to be able to centrifuge this beer. We had to make sure the haze was shelf stable. So we did years of research and development before we launched that brand. Put a lot of care and time.
Sure.
Sometimes it's a little slow, but then we know that we're really proud of what we're putting out on the market.
Absolutely. So let's talk about 2026 and what you all have planned for the upcoming year.
A lot of really cool things. Our entire team across Madtree is very excited about our brand calendar for this year. As you may have seen, we just launched a brand new product, our peanut butter porter tail wagger. That was a lot of fun to work together with my team and Chandler and Taylor in the quality lab, just dialing that recipe in. But we're bringing back some really old crowd favorites. Access Monday is coming out in cans with coffee and vanilla, so we're partnering with Deeper Roots. We're working on every quarter that there's a throwback beer that is only available in to-go product in our hospitality spaces, so Parks and Rec and Oakley. Entropic Theory is going to be the first one for quarter one. That should be launched, I think we're targeting the second week of February. We just brewed it last week. So that's really exciting just to see brands that even like I remember from 1.0 days that people keep commenting that they want to see again, like actually coming in cans, bringing people back to our spaces and, you know, reliving those fun memories that they had with Madtree back in 1.0.
I think that's a fun connection too, because as breweries grow, as brands go, there's times where something either was a one-off or something that you had all the time, and then you end up shifting in a different direction. And you do have those loyal followers that love those things that you used to have. So to be able to, like, whether it be like that greatest hit type thing where you kind of bring some things back, I think that's really fun and a good way to engage maybe some of those long-term people and bring them back into the fold a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it's a great way to also just say thank you. Like, you remember when you had this beer? Like, now look where we are. We got here literally because of our fans and of you who's, you know, gravitating towards this beer and drinking it in our spaces. So I'm really excited to see all of our ideas coming together and really giving back to the consumer.
Sure.
We hear you. Thank you. Like, let's celebrate together.
Absolutely.
I think as a head brewer, my job's kind of boring. Like, people think it's like, you know.
Do you remember the old Sam Adams commercial where they had the guy pouring grain from hand to hand and like selecting hops and stuff? I'm like, that's not like any of it. It's not. I don't. And there's always like sun streaming over their shoulder. I'm like, well, there's some sun. It's almost never that.
It's mostly like organizing people and product quality and taking all the different communication and putting it together.
Sure.
and hope that I solved the puzzle in the most efficient manner. I definitely miss the days of, brewing. Like sometimes I'll just come up here, ask Spencer, like, hey, can I be on the 15 this day? Like, I'm actually in no meeting, so let's do this and make sure I remember how to do this.
So for you, was there anything before the brewing industry work-wise? And then how did you find your way into the industry?
Sure. So I was in the hospitality industry, more on the wedding side before beer. Burnt out. I was just turned 30. I needed something different. And at the time, my husband was home brewing, and I would join him on brew days, kind of give him some recipe ideas, because I knew what beers I really liked. So trying to replicate those at home. So really learned and started to fall in love with just the artistic side behind beer making, but also the science and math background. Like, it's such a beautiful symbiotic relationship, how those all come together to make this product. So I decided that was going to be my career move. I'm going to go into beer. But besides home brewing, I didn't know anybody locally in the industry. So I didn't feel like I had a great way to get my foot in the door. So I went back to school to Cincinnati State. So Spencer today, who you talked to, and actually all of my brewing and cellar staff is part of the Cincinnati State program for brewing science. So I went back to school full-time for 2 years, and in my early 30s. It was exhausting. Started like co-oping and working at a smaller brewery in Fairfield, Swine City for about 2 years, and then I transitioned to here. So I went on the education route because I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing and could really sell myself and have a company that was wanting to work with me and trust me to be behind the scenes and operate their equipment.
I love it. So if you can talk to me about the importance, the role, the development and focus on quality over the years as Madtree has grown a little bit.
Sure. So back in 1.0 days, we did have a lab there. We were doing the simple testing that everyone's doing, pH, gravity, just making sure that we didn't have any off flavors in our beer, sensory. But now we've developed into this space, as you saw earlier, just a more robust lab. We're plating everything, making sure we're not grabbing wild yeast from the air. All of our tanks are perfectly clean. So the quality from day one at Madtree has always been very important. But as our portfolio expanded, our volume grew, we made sure that we were investing in that space too. So the consumer knows when they see something in our brand that they're getting something that we're extremely proud of, and that we would not put on the shelf if we knew there was any type of issue with it.
And really with quality, I mean, it's one of those things where you obviously want to have the highest standard at every step along the way, but the importance of that really magnifies when you are putting beer into cans. They're going on the store shelves, sometimes warm. All those things. I remember the first time I distributed a beer outside the first brewery that I was working at. It feels like you're sending your child out there and you don't know how it's going to be treated, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So yeah, really being able to narrow down on those things, especially as you grow, is a really big deal.
Yes, and we sensory everything, packaged, draft, or in cans. Our lab, we keep 6 months on hand of retains of everything that we package. We store it warm and we store it cold, just so we know worst case scenario, if we get anything feedback wise, we can test and make sure that we understand what's going on with the product. I mean, quality even just from the start with your raw material vendors.
Yeah.
So we're very picky about who we work with. You know, are they also a very sustainable company? How do they treat their employees? How do they treat their products?
Sure.
What's the logistics company that they use to ship it here? We just really try to dive in and make sure that we're extremely proud of what we're putting into can or even on your plate in our
Absolutely.
restaurants too.
Absolutely.